everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's been 2 weeks. Last weekend I was in Atlanta for my cousin's funeral, and that was just really emotional on so many levels. So last week I didn't do a video, but I am back this week and I am going to be bringing you my Bear part 2. So if you don't know who Bear is, go back and watch my video about dating a coworker, and that will explain who Bear is. I talked about how I'm going to have a Bear part 2 and a part 3, and it's really just because I hope people can relate to this, and so I don't sound like a crazy person. But for those of you that watch Grey's Anatomy, like, Bear was my person, like that one person that you just really can't shake for, you know, however long it takes you to get over them or move past it. He was my person, and I mean, like, for years and years and years. And so he was pretty significant in my life, and so that's why he has a part 1 and a part 2 and a part 3 of the different times that he came in my life. And also just kind of using him and different people. Like, some relationships were more significant than others, but also if I don't bring up some of them, then you guys won't know exactly where I was in my point in life. So that's why I'm using these two. So if some of them are like, you know, this is really not like a very exciting information, it's because I'm building up and I'm just trying to share my journey of how I got where I am today. So please stick with me, and I will tell you what went on with Bear part 2. I started talking again after I got divorced. Not directly after. It took us like a little while to find each other again. And where do you find each other? On social media. That's like the key thing. If you've lost somebody, like, they will be found 9 times out of 10 on social media. There are still a few people I haven't found, a few friends, but other than that, that is how Bear and I reconnected on Instagram. And I wasn't even really using my Instagram. I had actually just got Instagram. And I actually remember this because someone liked one of my pictures from way back last night, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't even realize that that's the point that I got Instagram. I was taking a picture with one of my cousins, and she encouraged me to get Instagram, and then I found Bear. So, you know, if you believe in that sort of thing, some things are just meant to be sometimes, because he didn't have Facebook, so he was having a hard time locating me, and so it was nice that he was looking for me and I was looking for him. So, you know, true friendship never dies. Even though we had like a really rocky one. But I mean, Bear just has like such an infectious spirit, like I've said before. And I mean, he just makes people want to be around him. Like, he draws people in, and that's to his detriment, I think, in relationships. And I mean, it definitely was for ours. And it's just so hard because it's so hard to break away from somebody that you're like, I just want to be around their spirit. Like, I don't think, even though we had our issues, that he has a bad spirit. He's not a bad person. He does bad, immature things, in my opinion, as far as relationships go. Keeps a lot of secrets, always keeps somebody, you know, in his pocket. You know, he's never lonely, I would say, and he might disagree, but I think that if he's lonely, that's only because he's choosing to be, but I feel like he's always had somebody in his pocket, and that's kind of been our issue. So I will tell you what happened with Bear and I this time, which all those things are leading up to my story. So it was awesome when Bear and I reconnected again. I was super excited because I don't know why, like, I think, you know, it might be because he's from Buffalo. He's one of the last people I dated when I was in Buffalo. he feels like home to me, maybe. Like, I don't know. I think that he is really the male version of me. He's a little bit flashier than I am, but I mean, I was kind of, you know, I won't say out of control with shopping, but you know, I liked shopping and buying new clothes every single week too when I was a kid. I think moving to the South kind of slowed me down because there wasn't a lot of competition to do that. Like, I mean, if I looked around, like I said in one of my videos when I was talking to my dad and I first moved here, and I was like, oh my God, Eddie, like, these people are not like me. And they weren't. You know, I'm from New York and I'm used to dressing a certain way and doing my hair and makeup and all those things. And it was like, come down here and it was kind of fewer and further in between. So I don't know, I didn't feel that pressure. I guess that's why so many people, you know, wear pajamas down here to Walmart, because they don't feel the kind of pressure we do in New York. I've never really seen anybody do that in Buffalo. It might happen, but it was definitely fewer and further in between. So coming to the South was definitely a culture shock on so many levels. But as far as like mentality wise, as far as being a go-getter, as far as, you know, our views on, you know, money and relationships for the most part, family, being family oriented and things like that, Bear and I really connected, especially like we both went to schools in the suburbs, and so we kind of had that thing going on as well. And that was really kind of significant because people are not always accepting of me in Buffalo because I was raised in the suburbs for most of the time. And so being raised in the suburbs and then going to a school that was a little bit like Dangerous Minds was a huge deal for me. And oh my God, like, it's just an experience. I could probably make some videos about like my experience of being here than there. But because of that, I feel like so many people just don't get me because they're just maybe a little bit confused by me. But it is what it is. I mean, I'm just me. It's like, get to know me and love me or hate me, and that's it. So Bear kind of having that, you know, being a black kid, being in an all white school, you know, he had that experience too. So it was like he was really accepting of me and we were accepting of each other. And I think we kind of had that bond too. I don't know if he felt like that, but I mean, he's mentioned to me like that, you know, some of the black women that he likes don't like him. And so that's why he dates a lot of Caucasian girls. I don't know, that's his story. I don't know if that's 100% true or not, but that's just what he told me. And I had a really big issue with that as well because, you know, I went to an all-white school for the most part with 98% white kids and white boys. And so, you know, that was kind of, you know, what my preference was for a little while too. So it was just really hard. And Bear is probably the first black guy that made me feel like it was okay to date black guys. And I know this probably sounds so horrible and it probably makes me look so bad, but like, this is definitely my truth. Like, I went to school in the suburbs. I lived in the suburbs for many years. And so going to the city, it was like, if you can just imagine the snapshot I had of going to the city and, you know, all the crime and all the gangs hanging on the street and all the people with their jeans over their, like, you know, below their waist and, you know, all that. And it was just like the image of blackness in Buffalo, which, I mean, Buffalo really, I think, is like number 3 in crime. So the image of the inner city in Buffalo compared to crossing over like one block and being into the suburbs was really a lot more significant than I think probably people would think. So I know this is totally off topic about relationships, but Bear was the first black guy I dated. And it's because I had such a jaded image of what black men were like. And I mean, I don't even really blame myself as much as I blame society and how it portrays black men, because of the fact that I wasn't exposed to many of them directly, except for, you know, my family and, you know, like my kid cousins. You know, that's a whole completely different situation and a whole completely different type of atmosphere. So I really wasn't exposed to like the image of good black men. I mean, even in videos, definitely videos of the 90s, Tupac, Biggie, NWA. I mean, Snoop Dogg, like, look at what their imagery was. It was a lot of gang violence, there's a lot of shooting, there was a lot of, you know, just getting women and all that. And so even movies, like one of my favorite movies was Poetic Justice, and I think that's when I fell in love with Tupac. But aside from Tupac, who was a little rough around the edges, you know, like there really wasn't a whole lot of movies that were really depicting, you know, black men in a good light. And so said all that to get to the point of why Bear and I connected and maybe why he was so important to me. And like I said, just him being able to just understand me and accept me and feel like I felt comfortable with him. Like I didn't feel like I had to hide certain parts of me. Like I went through a big part of my life, like trying to inflect my voice to sound blacker. Like it was really bad. I mean, I got picked on relentlessly at the city school that I went to when my parents moved to the city of Buffalo. Like relentless. And what could I do? It was like, it was really, really rough, because I felt like, what could I do? Like I can't change my voice. I definitely can't change what I look like either. And so like being a little bit brighter too, you know, that was a whole nother story. So a really big annoying thing for me was like how light-skinned girls can get called yellow and banana and, you know, all these light brights and every single, you know, whatever name that anybody can think of at the time to call us. But then yet we can't dare call a dark-skinned girl anything because there's such a stigma about that. So I don't know. I really was going through a hard time in my teens to young adult life with struggling between like who I was as a person. And I really feel like Bear helped me kind of get out of that, because he was always so accepting and he was always so, you know, like, don't worry about that. No, you're good. And I needed that so bad. And I think that's a lot of the reason why, you know, I stayed so connected with him through the years. So now this is a complete sidebar, but hopefully in saying this, I do feel like I'm purging a little bit. I hope I'm not aggravating or frustrating or pissing, you know, people off with what I said, but it was the truth. And I definitely 150 million% don't feel the same way I did as a kid about black men, obviously. But that was really real to me, and he helped shape and change how I felt about it. And so if nothing else, if like absolutely nothing else, like that I got out of the relationship with he and I, like that really was a turning point in my late teens, early 20s for me. So hopefully nobody's, you know, left thinking that I'm a huge snot, because I'm definitely not. It was tough. I mean, I think everybody can relate to just being a kid, being a teenager, a young adult, and just really being confused about who they are and, you know, what they want, what they like, and all those kinds of things. So definitely no disrespect to anybody. I love everybody. Black guys are my preference now. But I love everybody. Moving on, it was great that Bear and I started talking again, and we just were always able to pick back up where we left off. Like, I don't care how much, like, that is like hardcore, die-hard friends, and that is something that has been really hard for me to find being down here in Florida. And you know, I constantly tell people, like, I just feel like people don't get me. Like, I just feel like people don't get me. And it's hard, a lot harder than probably people think. And I don't know if it's Florida, I don't know if it's the culture down here, maybe it's just me, I don't know. But it's been really hard to find really good friends. My friend Amy and my friend Jennifer, like, I can do the same thing with them. Even some other friends from school and things like that that I talk to here and there, it's like, you know, it's nothing to pick back up. And that is like true friendship, I think. So thank you guys for that. So with Bear and I just being able to pick back up where we left off and just catch up and talk about things, he decided that he was gonna come to Florida and visit. And I was like, yeah, whatever, he's totally not coming. He's like, no, I'm gonna come. I'm like, he's not coming. He's like, no, for real this time. This is probably like the 8th time he was gonna come and visit me throughout our whole friendship. Because when I first moved down to Florida, he was like, oh, I'm gonna move down there with you and blah, 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 and look for apartments and, you know, let me know how things go. And he's always had a desire to get out of Buffalo. I don't know 100% what kind of keeps him going back. But you know, it is what it is. So he has said so many times throughout our friendship he was coming to visit, he's coming to visit. So I totally didn't believe him. Then he texts me and he says that, you know, he booked his flight and he screenshots it and sends it to me. I'm like, oh my God, he's totally coming to visit. So it was a lot of mixed emotions because I had been married, you know, and divorced and everything. So this had been 10 or 11 years since I had seen Bear at this point. So I had no idea what to expect. I mean, he was still his same goofy, silly self that I know and love. And so that was cool. And it was what I expected. I don't ever expect him to change certain aspects of himself. So yeah, so he was coming and this was like crazy. So like he said, Bear came to visit and picked him up from the airport. We were so lazy. Like, I think like we went to eat and then like we went back to my house and took a nap. Like, we were just so lazy, but like we got up and went to the mall later on, and we hung out the next few days, went to see the Fast and Furious, and you know, cried at the movie theater because that was the one where Paul Walker died. And like went out to dinner and went to the mall and went and did some of the attractions, the Upside Down house in Panama City. I don't know why I can never remember what it's called, but we went to the Upside Down house. We went to Ripley's Believe It or Not. Yes, I think that's what it's called. I should have researched these things. I don't ever remember what the Upside Down house is called, but it's like an upside down house. That's all I remember. So we went there and played laser tag and just did all kinds of stuff, and it was great. Like, we had a fantastic 4 days. I took him to my office where I was working. It's like my first real professional job. I was a program director of an agency, and so, you know, I was like big dog and stuff, and so it was really cool to just kind of let him into my adult life, and then me also to be able to see how he changed in his adult life. And he was a lot calmer and more centered and more mature. And I mean, that was a huge thing. Like, you know, he wasn't like completely off the walls, like, you know, hyper or anything, but you could just tell like in his spirit, like he was calmer and he just had a little bit more centerness to him. I don't know exactly how to explain it, but it was just, I mean, like a whole new world for us to just kind of be together in our adult life, but also have this past. And I think that's why, you know, I just couldn't let my bear go because we had this past, so then, you know, we had this potential of a future again. And so it was really, really a sweet and good time. The sad part about Bear and I's relationship is that, you know, there's always this honeymoon period before crap hits the fan. Bear left after we had this great time together. It was just absolutely perfect. I mean, it's like a few little things, but besides that, like, perfect. So Bear told me that he had broken up with the person that he was seeing, because when we started talking, he was seeing somebody, and, you know, I didn't want him to come and visit me if he was seeing somebody. So he said that they had broken up, that it was, you know, all good and it was over and yada, yada, yada. So evidently it wasn't. When he got home, I think maybe a week or two later, he went to the Dominican Republic with broken up girl. So I was just feeling dumb, I guess, to say the least, and, you know, feeling hurt all over again, because, like, dude, why do you keep doing this to me? Like, it's me. Like, you can be honest with me. Like, you can tell me how things are and let me rock with you or not. Like, this is me. Like, why would you keep hurting me? Why would you keep lying to me? And it's so hard because, you know, you care about somebody so much and you think they care about you, and it's like, no matter what, like, it still just remains that they cannot be honest and they cannot be real. When I found out about the whole Dominican Republic thing via Instagram, it's like, we're friends. Like, why would you post something knowing we're following each other on Instagram? But, you know, social media ruins relationships, but social media has helped women be able to peep stuff a little bit faster than they normally would too. So whatever, people that think, you know, oh, you know, it's snooping or it's this or it's that, but if it's there to find and it's really truly what it is, then why are men mad? You know, like, don't do stupid things, and then don't do stupid things and post them on social media. Like, I mean, why? It's beyond me. Bear and I went through a phase of not talking again, and then I went to Buffalo for a kind of reunion with me and my high school friends, like not a reunion like high school, but me and some of my high school friends got together in 2015, and so we had our own little private reunion, which was amazing and long time coming. Most of us hadn't seen each other in like 10 years or more, and so it was great. So since I was going to Buffalo, I let Bear know that I was coming, and he was super excited, and way more excited than I thought, because I'm like, you know, you have this girlfriend, and I don't know. So I didn't even ask about the girlfriend, you know, when I went to see him, but I'm pretty sure that, I don't know, like, he still probably had it going on. Like, it was just, I don't know, it was an endless cycle of me and Bear and me being the other woman, and that was always our issue. And, you know, I'm not aspiring to be a side chick at all. Like, who aspires to be a side chick? You know, when I was 19 and he had his on again, off again relationship, and I had my situation with Swoopy Whoopy, I mean, I don't want to say that I ever thought that it was cute, and I don't ever want to say that, you know, like, I thought it was funny and like I was getting over and it was like all exciting and we were being so sneaky. Like, that wasn't it. It was just, I really liked this guy, and both of us were just in this weird relationship with other people. So it was never like, oh, I enjoy laying next to you while you talk to your girl and explain to her that you're going to sleep and I'm really right next to you. Like, that wasn't cool for me, and it never will be. And that's always the situation I found myself in with Bear. But like I said, like, him being my person, like, I just couldn't go to Buffalo all that way and not see him. Like, there's just no way I could do that. So when I went to Buffalo, things were cool. You know, we left as friends and everything was good. For the most part. Eventually, like all situations like this, we stopped talking, just kind of like, you know, just phone calls and texts and all that stuff got fewer and further in between, which is fine because I started dating somebody, and he had texted me, and I guess like him and the girl had broke up again, and he's like, oh, you know, I really want to move down there with you and just get a new start and blah 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 and all these things that I've heard, you know, a billion times. And I started dating somebody, which will be in my next video. I started dating somebody, and when I told Bear about it, he just flipped out, stopped talking to me like I had pee-peed in his Cheerios, which was messed up because, dude, like, you have a whole girlfriend. Like, just because y'all are broke up this week and you're texting me, like, that was just so not fair. But you just think men care? No, they just do whatever. So, you know, of course, I'm the bad guy and I'm horrible and he can't believe I went and found somebody else when, you know, he's moved on and he's got a girlfriend, and, you know, we're in completely different states. We're across the country from each other. But no, I shouldn't be happy. I should wait on you until, you know, you're ready. That's what I should have been doing, I guess. Months went by, and I am back in Atlanta for one of my friend's funerals, and find out that Bear is engaged. So he's getting married to the girl that, you know, he kept allegedly breaking up with. So that was a hard pill to swallow. It was just mind-blowing that, like, how can you, like, be like how you are? Like, I don't even know. This is from My So-Called Life. If you guys have seen that, probably not if you're young, but anyway, there's a scene when the girl is talking to the guy and she's like, why are you like this? And the guy says, like what? Like an idiot. And she's like how you are. But that's just how I felt with Bear all the time. Like, how can you keep like trying to like reel me in, and you have this complete, you know, situation going on? So it was just heartbreaking a little bit because, you know, you feel like you're losing your friends when they get married, and, you know, it's like really over when that happens. And so he was engaged, and we weren't talking at the, when I found out, we weren't talking anyway. So I was technically, yes, I was dating somebody too, but I was still a little bit upset because I just felt like for years and years and years, like he just played with my mind, and I don't know. It sucks. I hope I'm not the only one that's had these kind of terrible relationships where guys are just like constantly like trying to get you to believe a dream. Like, that's kind of how I felt like with him. There's a master of disappearing. He will change his number. He will change his Instagram. Like, he will go through great lengths so people cannot find and contact him again. It's so odd. So, I mean, basically, once he was engaged, like, I had no phone number, I had no Instagram to contact him, I couldn't slide in nobody's DMs, I couldn't do anything to contact him, and probably was for the better. So, you know, it's all fine and good. You know, if he's getting married, it's really over. It's like the thing now, over. And, so that was that. Or was it? Because there is a Bear part 3. So there's definitely more to this story, and oh my gosh, this is probably the most embarrassing relationship I've been in, because I just feel like dumb is just the word that comes to mind when I'm thinking about how I was dealing with him. But we all have that one person we were dumb over. This is my story. So for those of you that are excited to hear how this story ends, Bear's third and final video will be in 2 weeks. So definitely stay tuned for that. Hit the bell button once you subscribe, and hopefully you're already subscribed. If you're not, please subscribe, and give this video a thumbs up. If nothing else, I hope it was somewhat entertaining to hear about my misery. So subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up before you leave. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next week.